What's up, Brendan and Nathan? This is your girl Spirit from the Home Video Hustle podcast. And I gave you guys freestyle because, I don't know, I was just feeling like giving you guys a little headache for a little bit. But originally I picked this movie because it has Corbin Bleu in it, and I had like the hugest crush on him back in his High School Musical days. Ignore him back there. Anywho. So like I got it pretty much because I had a crush on him, and he's the main star of the movie. And then I watched the movie and
trash.
My feelings kind of changed. Like this movie, I can't believe it actually like made theaters. This is like a Hallmark movie. Like this is one that you would expect to just watch scrolling through TV while you're over your grandparents' house or something. It was pretty lame. So yeah, I hope you guys hated it as much as I do. It was kind of a waste of time. I got it out at the $3 bin at Walmart, so I can't be too mad.
Still pay for it.
You know what? You've bought trash movies before, too.
Yeah, but I usually like them, though, too. Good trash and bad trash are different.
Someone's gonna like this shit.
Oh, they're gonna love it. Ain't y'all?
No, they're not.
Y'all didn't pick one of my movies, but guess what? You still get fucked over anyway.
They might feel differently about me after this movie. Like, no more suggestions from the Spirit. We're done with this.
Enjoy, Brendan and Nathan.
Have fun.
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Welcome. It begins, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Nathan.
And this is the beginning of Listener's Choice Month.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, are we starting with a tight 94 minutes. No filler here. All killer, no filler.
Oh my god.
Or maybe we should coin all filler, no killer.
No killer whatsoever.
90...
This was given to us by a malevolent spirit.
Yes, of the Home Video Hustle podcast.
Right.
So, yeah, well, if you hadn't guessed, because you probably did, because, you know, episode titles usually say the names of the movie, this is Freestyle from 2008, or, as Rotten Tomatoes likes to say for some reason, 2009. They're not quite sure.
Well, I don't know, was there like some weird release date thing, like it came out the end of December in Europe, and then released North America in January?
I think actually that's exactly what happened, but I am surprised, Nathan, you would accuse a movie like this of being dumped in theaters in a month like January.
Man, I've got to agree with the audio at the first there, because one of my first notes is, so this is a Hallmark teen movie, isn't it? It looks like it. It feels like it. The acting choices dictate that it is.
Oh, it feels like, yeah, that or like, you know, a Disney Channel special or something.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah, Freestyle, of course, starring High School Musical's Corbin Bleu. And inexplicably, Penelope Ann Miller is in this.
Well,
Penelope Ann Miller of, you know, Adventures in Babysitting,
yep.
Big Top Pee-wee, Kindergarten Cop, Awakenings, Chaplin, Carlito's Way, and, of course, Freestyle.
Well, Freestyle aside, what do all those other movies have in common?
They're all pretty good.
They predate 2000.
True.
So I'm guessing the old career was on a bit of a downswing.
Yeah. Sad to see.
Interesting tidbit, because it's a tidbit that's interesting, because it's a tidbit that's interesting.
Because it's an interesting tidbit?
It's an interesting tidbit, that's it. Apparently, old Corbin Bleu was a producer on this thing.
Oh, his company is up front. He also performs on the soundtrack.
Well, that's no surprise.
But Nathan, I mean, we're going to talk about this movie, but it was a huge success. The budget, the budget for this movie was $10 million, which is all on the screen.
Yep.
And it made $721,108.
Right.
In total. That's not opening weekend. That's not just in the US. That is worldwide total.
And if you go back a couple episodes, I can't remember which movie it was, you asked how much a movie made.
Yes.
And the $721 was my guess, because I figured that the movie that we were talking about was about on par with what we were going to be watching. Boy, howdy, was I wrong. I don't care what it was. I know it wasn't Postal. I know it wasn't Muck. So, yeah, anything really would have been better than this, except for those two and Nick Fury.
Yes, this is not at the Postal level. Don't get us wrong.
No, it's not offensive and, like the kind of shit that should just be expunged from the earth.
Right. But let's get going let's get right into this. The poster, of course, tells us exactly what we should be expecting. Corbin Bleu and a girl just laying in a field.
Just hanging out with each other.
Yep. It's about dirt biking, not a single dirt bike to be seen on the poster. But
nope.
Our main character, Cale Bryant, played by Corbin Bleu, he's a dirt bike racer, or a dirt biker, whatever you want to call him.
A motocross.
Is it motocross?
It's a motocross racer.
See, so we need some sort of extreme sports expert.
Unfortunate.
To call it on this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so there's a big race in town, and literally the entire town is shutting down for it.
And apparently it's every week.
Yeah, so the entire town shuts down every week for this, dirt bike race?
Now, I do know that most of Saskatchewan shuts down when there's a Rough Riders game.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that their caliber of play is warranted to that. Also, the fact that there's no other major sports teams in Saskatchewan.
Right, and this is amateur at the amateurist level.
Yes, they're not on the national. It's all amateur stuff. In fact, we come to find out later that they try to up the stakes by saying whoever wins, or they present it like whoever wins the amateur circuit in their little podunk area could have a chance to go on to be on the national tour.
Yep, it's a real rags to riches story.
Notice all the sports we're talking about here? None of that is on the cover. None of that is in any of the promotional stuff that I saw when I was looking for this thing.
Not even in the tagline.
No.
The tagline is he's gonna find true love or something like that. It's nothing about dirt bikes. Nothing.
Yeah.
I wonder if the dirt bike thing is let's get the guys in with the sports and the ladies in with the romance.
Well, here's the thing. If that was their thought, why wouldn't they at least put in the background, a couple of dudes doing jumps with dirt bikes?
Or just a picture of a dirt bike and a rose.
Oh, well, that would be weird.
I want all my DVD covers to just be symbolic.
But I could see this being if they wanted to do that, almost like the cover of Torque, where the guy's standing there in his motocross gear, but his girl's right there with him, standing beside him. So okay, there's a love interest, but there's also dirt bikes.
Right.
Not them sitting in a field and love is great, love is nice. I'm assuming that's what they were singing.
The music in this movie is much better than that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So, the big race. Again, yes, Corbin Bleu produced because we got Blue Man Entertainment right at the beginning, which he missed the boat by not calling it Blue Man Group Entertainment. I'm just saying.
I don't feel that he would have gotten away with that.
Well, his last name is like Bleu, so I mean, maybe.
That's a stage name.
Is it? Corbin Bleu?
Yeah, because another interesting tidbit, because it's a tidbit that's interesting, because it's interesting tidbits, and that's it.
And it's interesting.
Right. The dude who plays his biological dad in this movie is his real dad, and their names are nowhere near the same.
That's hilarious because I thought they had no chemistry. And I thought it was a completely random actor. So, I mean, good job, I guess?
Yeah.
So after Corbin Bleu kind of does the Captain America method of winning a foot race against his friend, oh, I sighed, psych.
Yeah.
We find out he's also a pizza delivery guy, and he's a dumb one because he does things like pass the pizza through the door before he gets the money.
Yeah.
But he...
And drives a Vespa, so, I mean, also equally stupid.
Right. So he makes it at the last second to this race.
To the flag.
And... What's that?
To the flag.
To the flag. Oh my god, every time they said that in this movie. That's like their bro thing they say to each other all the time. Hilariously, later when they do the bloopers, he forgets his line is to the flag.
Yes.
But they're like, to the flag, bro, what's up, bro? Not much, bro. You're late. Yeah, I know. This guy's like, you guys make me wanna barf. So much ADR.
Yeah.
So much ADR. So they have this big race. His good friend Justin? Yeah, Justin.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. His good friend Justin gets banged up. He crashes his bike and...
Because the other guy's a dirty cheater.
Yes, but Derek.
Right.
Derek the dirty cheater.
Derek the dirty cheater.
Yes. Oh no! Mother, get out of here!
Did you... Okay, we're gonna get into the music because there's a gazillion montages, and so the music is clearly up front in this movie. Did the soundtrack or the song that was playing during this race, did it sound to you like Shaggy singing Kid Rock? Whatever that song is by Kid Rock, that bow ba da dow ba dang a dang diggy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because I was like listening to it, I was like, that's a Kid Rock song, but that doesn't sound like Kid Rock.
Because it was not Kid Rock. It sounded like Shaggy.
Kid Rock was like, excuse me, but I'm associated with a much better sports movie. I believe you've heard of it. Biker Boys.
But there's bikes in this one, too. No thanks.
No thanks, I'm an actor now. So, yeah, Justin wipes out, and instead of finishing the race, because I think he's like 2 feet away from the fucking finish line, he drives back to check on Justin, when really there should be just like medical teams going in, because he's not going to do anything.
And there's a guy there waving the yellow flag, and they're actually on the radios going, can we get a medic out to the turn?
Exactly, just finish the race, dummy.
Yeah.
So, and Justin is fine, like he gets right up, he's totally fine. And Corbin Bleu's like, I guess his like manager, promoter, coach, dirt bike owner, sponsor.
Yeah,
it just looks like it has the greatest hairline in movie history, and he's basically like, you gotta stop, you gotta win these points, you gotta win all these points so you can qualify for another bigger race or something.
Well, no, the idea being is that he sponsors Corbin Bleu. I don't know I can't remember his name right at the top of my head. Caleb or Kale?
Yeah.
Fuck, even his name is distasteful. So, and bland at that too.
Oh, delicious, right?
Yeah. Put him in a smoothie. So the sponsor, the idea being that a local business will sponsor your entry fees and your equipment and stuff like that, as we see later in the movie with the restaurant that sponsors them. The trade-off there is that usually there's all kinds of product placement for their store or their products that they sell. Like you see the Thor stuff throughout the whole movie, like the gear that they're wearing. So the sponsor, if I correct, the sponsor does get a small bit of the revenue that's generated through winnings to offset the amount of money that they're giving to this person to race using their gear. And also, you get your sponsor looks at you more favorably, obviously, if you're winning, because you're wearing their gear while winning. And if you perform poorly, your sponsor may drop you.
Yes, that is their function. You are right.
Exactly.
No edit point here, folks.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, so he's mad. We also meet Kale's mother, played by Penelope Ann Miller, and very precocious younger sister, that fucking Disney Channel precocious kid who says things that, oh gosh, it's so darn cute because you don't expect her to say those adult things. Because she says...
Piece of crap.
Yeah, it's like, what a fart head. And he's like, Bailey, where did you learn words like that?
That's like, Nickelodeon.
Every single show on television.
Yeah.
So Kale is continuing to deliver pizza and working at some like future shop, I guess, type deal.
Yeah.
I wrote down the name of this place because it made me laugh. I think I wrote down later, so when I see it, I'll mention it because it's just so stupid. Anyway, yeah. So he works at this future shop type deal, and he has his girlfriend Crystal,
and we're seeing all this with a delightful Simple Plan knockoff going on.
Not even Simple Plan, but a knockoff Simple Plan.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the real deal, guys. Don't worry though, because a real band does show up later.
Quotes around that.
Oh, our favorites. At the same time, there is a local cop that is trying to romance his mom as well at the cafe where she works, and I guess she runs it too?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I saw her like crunching numbers later, and it looked like she was running the whole shop.
She could just be the manager.
Yeah. Could be.
But I mean, but what you're saying, Brandon, is that there's other stories connected?
Oh, did I, yeah, and also, there's another one with Justin where he, like, his dad wants him to go to college and he doesn't want to go to college. Let's see, is there any other ones? The kid is getting bullied, which is a 10-second storyline that we never go back to.
There's a whole unreconciled relationship with the biological dad.
Oh, there's a romance gonna brew pretty soon.
There's a dad who's doesn't approve of that romance.
Yep. So, if you want storylines, there are lots of them.
I actually have a note here. Can we get a story?
Yeah, I didn't know what the plot was for about 40 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
So, Kale is always like trying to get his girlfriend to hang out with him, but she's like, I don't want to hang out with you and your dude bros. Like, no thanks. Right. I got studying to do is always her excuse, which we know what her studying is, eh? Yeah. Dicks. Kale also has this weird moment where he goes, like, his younger sister is complaining about bullies, and then she says, are we white or black? And he goes, we're whack.
Which is not it's not complimentary in any way at all.
Yeah, I know they're trying to combine the words, but I do not think these words mean what you think they mean. And also, like, it's a weird thing. So is she getting, like, racial epithets thrown at her?
I don't know. But here's the thing. There's no way you can portmanteau those words into a complimentary word. Because you're either whack or blight.
Yep. I already wrote fuck this movie. That's like 20 minutes into this.
At one point, I had to paused the movie. I think to answer the phone or something. And I was like, shit, it's only been a half an hour? That felt like an hour and 10 minutes.
Well, and we also get a little foreshadowing here because Kale goes by this farmhouse on his dirt bike, and then he sees a girl on a horse, and I was like, man, I wish I was watching Hot Shots. And, you know, he makes horse noises with his little sister, which is apparently the funniest fucking thing she's ever heard. He also fixes his dirt bike in a cafe, and I'm like, that's kind of gross. Like, right on the table.
All this is happening during a montage.
Yeah, this is all, like, in the span of, like, a minute. That's why I'm trying to, like, race through it. Race?
Right, I get what you did. Stop it.
So we meet his his friends. So
who are, like, sorta, kinda, absolutely racist?
Yeah. So you're referring to when they go to the Mexican restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to right now. With Justin and Trent, I think is his name, which is
my
God, good naming, I guess. They go to this Mexican restaurant, act like a bunch of douchebags, and yes, pretty racist.
Who doesn't know how to say chimichanga?
Yeah, he's like, Cheech and Chong, I guess. Also, like, what audience is that for? Like, 'cause I know we're watching this movie, but we're not the audience.
White bread racist dude bros who they want to get into the audience too? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Cheech and Chong and Disney Channel, not a lot of crossover.
No, but not Disney Channel here though. So
I mean, basically,
it kinda, yeah. It's same with Hallmark, but
yeah,
not officially. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it's a lot of people who watched High School Musical who watch this,
and well, obviously at least one.
Yeah, one ghostly apparition.
Right. Maybe she died of embarrassment because she liked this movie.
I have a question right up front for this scene, though.
What's that?
I mean, they get their food. That's all fine and good. You could buy lottery tickets at a restaurant?
Well, this whole thing was filmed in Fort Langley, BC. It's a real small town. It's not uncommon for restaurants or cafes to double as convenience stores.
Okay.
So that's plausibly a thing.
It is a little it was a little surprising to see. I feel like a lot of people reacted that way though, like, wait, what?
But are they, I mean, they're still in high school, right?
I don't know. I thought
Okay.
they were, but none of them look 18.
Because I don't know, Justin
Yeah.
talks about how his dad wants him to go off to college.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be in high school, but they don't look like they should be.
So it is plausible that you could buy lottery tickets at that cafe. However, they're not old enough to purchase lottery tickets.
That is correct. Yeah, because you're not 19 in high school usually.
Usually.
Yeah. So Justin hits on the waitress, and she basically calls him a douche in so many words.
Does he hit on her? Because he makes fun of her name because he apparently can't pronounce Alejandra.
Well, no, but then he says, like, which one of us is cuter? And he holds up a photo of some other dude. And she's like, I don't want to hurt my tip. And they're like, oh, snap!
I died a little inside.
Mm-hmm. So it's time to celebrate Mom's birthday. No, before we get to that,
Okay.
They stumble upon the gear store, I guess, and there's a television interview being conducted with Derek, the guy who won the last race.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you not know there's an open spot on the Pro Tour? And he's like, there's an open spot, and everybody's like, there's an open spot. I'm sorry,
I got a golden ticket.
And also, like, wouldn't you know about that by now? Wouldn't your, like, sponsor be like know about that before the fucking newscaster?
Usually.
Yeah, like,
Unless it's hot breaking news right off the presses.
I gotta think of, like, what's the coverage on this interview? Is this, like, CNN, like, breaking news? Well, the impeachment process... Hold on a second. Forget that. We have an interview with Derek. Wolf Blitzer, take it away. But so they find out there's an open spot in the Pro Tour, and immediately the friends are like, yeah, there's only one open spot, bro. This is not a team effort. Peace.
Which is supposed to, I guess, set up some sort of conflict between Justin and Kale.
Oh, we forgot that there's also that storyline. That's the L storyline, the L plot.
I found it kind of odd that he got 37 lotto scratches.
37?
Yeah, in a row. And I was like, that's really friggin' odd. And they don't do anything to kind of like explain it. And then they're just, oh, it's part of her birthday celebration. Okay.
Yeah. Don't get any more scratchers on your way to the parking lot.
Hey, you, get back here.
But yeah, they go. So they're celebrating Mom's birthday. And she's like, all right, what are we going to do if we win the lottery? She goes, hunt down George Clooney. I want to see that movie. Where his family just tries to hunt down George Clooney and kidnap him after winning the lottery. That sounds like a good movie. It could be like his version of like, it could be like his like being John Malkovich kind of thing.
And that's the thing, like, when they start talking about, like, you know, doing the scratchers and winning the lotto, she says something like, you know, pay off my bills, put some money aside in the savings. And it's like, that's the most adult answer to what would you do if you won the lotto that I've ever heard. It lets me know that she's a little dead inside.
It's also the fakest answer ever.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, maybe you will, but you can't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You can make all these noble claims that you're gonna invest and all that shit, but like, there's a difference between before you get the money to like when you get the money.
Screw that. Let's get dune buggies.
Yeah. Let's get drunk and drive around. Woo!
I think it's funny in the store scene. They say that motocross is the most physically demanding sport.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I almost barfed when they said that.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not physically
No.
demanding. I mean, obviously, you have to have your wits about you. You have to be able to steer and control the bike, keep it, you know, going in the path that you want it to. However, I feel that somebody doing a decathlon would be a little more exhausted after their sport.
Yeah, or even like, I don't know, Ultimate Fighting? Or
Well,
like,
that too.
or like, you know, yeah, like, it's physically demanding, but to say it's the physically demanding sport, I mean,
Yeah.
no, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, movie. That's your one flaw. Let's see how you bounce back. So we have the next big race. And Kale ends up getting second place this time. So Justin ends up winning, I think he ends up winning enough points to qualify for another race. Because, like, I thought this was the race to qualify for the pros, but then I guess later there's one to do that. I wasn't quite sure.
It goes throughout the season. It's a cumulative point thing.
They're basically just trying to impress, like, the pro judges or whatever, so that, and then they'll pick someone to be in the pros.
Kinda, yeah.
And immediately Kale becomes super unlikable. Because Justin wins, and this guy comes up to him and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be your sponsor. And he's like, great, hey, Kale. Oh, Kale's totally gone and abandoned you immediately. Like, Justin didn't just immediately turn into an ass. I get it if he was like, yeah, I won. Kale, fuck off. I'm a winner. But he didn't.
No.
And Kale is just like, well, Justin's an asshole now because he won this race.
We do get some of our more egregious use of slow-mo to pad the film.
So much slow-mo.
Yeah.
Not as good as the astronaut shot later. That's my favorite slow-mo in this movie. But we get another musical montage. I don't know if this is the Nickelback one. I think that's later.
No, I have another SP montage.
Okay,
so.
cool. So this is Kale just trying to make money, delivering pizza. He ends up taking pizza to Derek's place, the douchebag blonde dirt bike guy.
Yeah.
And he gives him a tip, and Kale's like, I'm not taking your money.
No, okay, here's how it's presented. He gives him the pizza, and he's like, here you go, and you can keep the change. He's not saying, keep the change, you filthy animal. You can keep the change, which a lot of people do
Right.
when they're tipping a delivery driver.
He didn't even say, keep the change, you're gonna need it more than me.
Yeah, he wasn't snotty about it. He was like, here, you can keep the change.
Yeah. And Kale's like, I don't take your stupid money, bro. Like, he overreacts to a lot.
Which is what leads me to believe that they're still supposed to be in high school.
Kale is the villain? Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's also looking for Crystal because apparently she's at the party and he says, hey, get her to contact me. He goes off back to work and then he comes back and he can't find Crystal. And I guess the movie is trying to make us believe at this point that Justin is with Crystal, like they're making out or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But then more on that later, right?
Yeah.
But then he opens the truck and Justin's just with like some rando. And Derek is making out with Crystal.
And this is where we find out Kale is a possessive dickweed who's willing to, damage private property.
Yeah. At that point, I was like, maybe she should be with Derek.
Yeah, I there's not a whole lot that's been presented to me about Kale that makes me go, you know what, I can get behind this guy.
Yeah, he literally, I mean, I know, yes, the guy is making out with your girlfriend, but he smashes the window of the car.
Yeah.
And he's like, get out of the car!
Yeah, he's full on rage mode.
I'm like, yeah, no wonder she's fucking making out with this other dude. She's probably stuck in an abusive relationship.
Get an awesome high-speed chase.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not since Tracers have we seen a thrill-seeking sequence like this.
Yeah. Through the bustling metropolis of Fort Langley, BC.
Where is it supposed to be? Do you know?
They never say.
Okay.
I'm guessing Washington because he drives to Oregon.
Small American town, USA.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like Washington State.
Okay.
Because usually if you're filming in BC, that's the state you're doubling for most of the time. They don't do anything to cover up the Fort Langley stuff, though.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's visible on street posts and stuff. Like, there's like a festival or something, and they've got banners up that say Fort Langley.
I love when they do that in movies. Like, I think there was one movie that was supposedly in the States, and you could see the goddamn CN Tower in the background.
I've seen ones where it's supposed to be in the States, and there's like Scotiabank and Canada Post office boxes.
Yep. Well, also the movie Little Italy that came out like I think last year. They just said fuck it, it's Canadian Little Italy. Toronto or whatever.
Well, both Toronto and Montreal have a Little Italy section, don't they?
Yeah, it's just funny that a movie called Little Italy would be that Little Italy.
Oh. Where are we at here? He has this confrontation with with Crystal.
Yeah, so, right, because he's like, what's going on? How long's this been going on? She's like, yeah, because he goes to her house and waits for her.
Yeah, and she's like, she says stuff like, he's not gonna go anywheres, and he's not gonna. He has 2 fucking jobs. This kid, douchey as he might be, is clearly driven and goal-oriented because he has 2 jobs to help support his mother and his little sister.
Right, and I mean, Crystal's hooking up with just like another dirt bike driver, so.
Yeah, so...
It's like, that's not like what you kind of scaled up. I mean, I guess this Derek guy's supposed to be like a rich boy, but...
Yes.
So Kale, he eventually he gets caught by the police officer and taken home, and the mom is playing the race card. By like, they see people like him and they assume he's guilty, and he's like, no, Mom, I smashed the window, blah, blah, blah.
I am guilty, I totally did it. And then he goes inside and drinks milk straight from the carton. What a bad boy.
What a rebel.
Right?
David Bowie would blush at this rebel. And then he has this big thing with his mom where he's like, well, maybe things would be different if Dad was still here. He is a dick.
Yeah.
A huge dickhole. And she's obviously, like, bothered by that statement. And so he goes upstairs and, you know, everything's fine because his sister's there and they fucking look at dirt bike magazines together. But the next day, the sponsor is there and he repossesses the bike because he says, yeah, you can't be getting busted by the cops. It looks bad on me, so you're out. Find your own way into the race.
I own this sickle, he says.
Yeah, this is mine.
Sickle. Not cycle, sickle.
Sickle. Like sickle cell anemia.
Like motorcycle.
Yeah. Motorcycle cell anemia.
Did we miss the part where Mom gave him that super awesome pep talk?
Maybe?
Which is full of exposition and how he, you know, might just... You just might not get that dream and you'd have to deal with that.
Oh, maybe. Before he goes and, like, sulks in his room?
Yeah, I think so. Part of this was really blocked out for me because the gross Nickelback montage.
Yeah! What song is it that they play?
I don't fucking know. It's something gross by Nickelback.
Oh, is it like the one that's like... Na, 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 when I really do. That one?
Prison gates won't open up for me. On these hands and knees I'm crawling. I reach for you. Well, I'm terrified of these four walls.
So there's a Nickelback montage of just dirt bike racing and Kale being sad.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the farm that we saw earlier, and he's like, hey, that shitty bike that looks like it's about to rot in the grass, can I have it?
Well, it's funny because when he goes back there, and I know that that's where this story is going, because there's a zillion of them. Mm-hmm. But when he looks at the field and sees the horse, I took a Mystery Science Theater note and was like, yeah, I could ride a horse in the dirt bike race.
That would be amazing. Move over, John Wick 3. We just found the next great horseback scene.
Yeah. And then another montage while he works on the goddamn bike.
5 minutes after the last montage.
Yeah.
And also, like, okay, maybe is he... The bike that he has, though, that he's driving around, is he not able to use that, or is that just like a motorcycle?
The one he's driving around, I think it's just a motorcycle.
Okay.
The Vespa is what he's delivering his stuff on.
Right.
He also has a bike, just a regular, I'm guessing, like, motorcycle.
Because I was confused when he had his motorcycle. I thought that was just like another dirt bike. I was like, why doesn't he just use that one?
Well, because if it's a standard street bike,
yeah.
Like a Honda or something like that, it wouldn't qualify. They have to meet a certain specs.
Right. No, that makes sense. I was confused about that at first.
And okay, so how does he get the bike to repair?
Well, he says, "Listen, what do you want for it?" The guy's like, "Oh, I don't know. What do you think?" He's like, "I'll come here and work for a month every morning and help out for that bike."
Yeah.
That I will also fix on my own.
Yeah.
Free labor.
Which
for this piece of shit.
I don't have the biggest qualm about him getting the bike that way.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of do have a qualm with is that the farmer, that's his only purpose.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything else in the movie.
Nope.
And if this were written with any sort of, I don't know, forethought...
Yeah.
They would have doubled in the romance angle with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would have fallen in love with the rancher's daughter while he was working at the farm, which he does, but it's Alejandra who doesn't work at the farm.
That didn't make any sense to me. I thought that was going to be his daughter.
Yeah.
Like, when the girl... And then I was like, well, that's weird, kind of weird casting, but okay, like, whatever. Maybe the mother, like, you know, is Mexican or whatever. And then, yeah, there's no relation at all. She's just there, like, volunteering too, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's the worst fucking screenwriting. Like, you can't have your characters just meet up at the restaurant again, even, like, if you're gonna do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
and
dumb.
also, I mean, if he's repairing this bike over the course of, like, a month... he's losing out on so many points.
Yep.
In these weekly races that they're supposed to be having.
But somehow has enough later. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does meet up with Alejandra, the waitress from earlier, and they have a lot of they have a lot of chemistry together. Nathan, they're playing off each other like thunder and lightning.
Well, so much so that they rode motorcycles in the rain.
Right? He is this a thing to always have like a second helmet with your bike?
Usually.
Okay, because I thought it was weird that he had a helmet ready for her.
Usually it's in movies, it's for plot convenience.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It wouldn't be unheard of for him to have had a second helmet, not necessarily for her, but if he just broke up with his girlfriend, that helmet might just be with the bike because it would have been for her when they were riding motorcycles in the rain.
Sure. So, for that reason, but, like, normally if someone just has a motorcycle, they don't go driving around with a second helmet, right?
Not usually.
Okay.
But is the breakup supposed to be fresh at this point?
I think it was, like, a little while ago, because I think he's been working on this farm for weeks at this point.
Okay. So, then it's a little less plausible then.
So he drives her to work, and we meet her. We're at the restaurant, and we learn that her family actually owns the restaurant. And her father, immediately upon seeing this man drive his daughter to work, says, "I don't like him. I want you to stay away."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we're doing this too? All right." Meanwhile, Kale heads back to that bike store, and we see Justin and Derek are there together getting gear.
I have a kind of question. Did it feel like that Derek was hitting on Justin?
I hope so.
At one point, though, I was like, I don't know what the exact line is, and I wasn't going back to watch it, but
I'll give you a minute if you want to go check.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a note here. Was he hitting on him?
I don't remember exactly what he said.
Well, they're sitting there and they're talking about, I think Derek was kind of being like, there's no teams. It's every man for themselves, that sort of thing. But he's almost like he's trying to identify or draw closer to Justin, and it just came off like he was hitting on him, which makes some of the blooper stuff the best.
Now pick out a helmet and let me take a look at that sweet ass. What? I said it says no teams. It's individual. It's a good race. Can't wait. Hey. So Derek, so they're there, and Kale runs into Justin, and Justin is literally like, "Hey man, I heard what happened. It's too bad I couldn't get my sponsor to help you out." And he's like, "Oh, it's so easy for you, isn't it?" Like, again, Kale is a fucking asshole.
And this is like the H story by this point now.
Yep. Yeah, Kale just like explodes at his friend, who is then like, "All right, dude, whatever." Derek makes fun of it. He's like, "Oh, you guys breaking up?" Which, based on your theory, he's probably happy about, because now is his chance.
That must be why I have is he hitting on him?
Yep. And they get into Derek and Justin get into like a fist fight in the store. And
Trent gets fired.
Trent gets fired for breaking it up. The guy is just like, get out, and you're fired.
I don't understand how that works.
I'm like, you need to take that up with the employment board, pal.
Yeah, because that is wrongful termination.
For sure. Like he's like, they're your friends, so you're therefore responsible. I'm sorry, if two of my friends came to work and started fist fighting in the lobby, I don't think they could fire me.
Well, you know what? Kyle and I are going to test that theory out in a few weeks, so be ready.
Sweet. I will literally be on the other end of the building, and they'll be like, "Brendan, do you know these two people?" "Yes, I do, but I didn't know they were going to have a fist fight." "You're fired." "Clean out your desk." I work at the theater.
I don't have a desk.
I don't have a desk.
Turn in your dustpan on a broomstick.
"Well, here's a desk. Now clean it out and leave." Oh, God. So, after this bullshit, Kale goes on and on and on and on to Alejandra about like the fucking in and outs of like dirt bike racing and like all these things you have to do, and there's the ramp, and I don't know. I zoned out completely.
I didn't. I was able to catch this,
Okay.
where he talked about not racing with technique, but, you know, when you get to go freestyle.
Oh, I did catch that. Yep.
Fucking nearly lost an eye rolling. Although I'm guessing Mariah was digging her elbows into your ribs when.
Oh, if she had watched it, she would have been.
Yeah.
I couldn't convince her to watch this one.
Patty was like, "This is fucking terrible."
It's one of the worst examples of saying the title of the movie.
Because it's really shoehorned in.
Yep. After this nonsense, he's getting ready to meet her family already.
Oh, yeah. And he's given the awesome advice to just be yourself. So I was expecting him to smash a window with a helmet and fight somebody.
I also hate that it's the fucking kid's sister that's like the voice of wisdom again.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah. It's like, have you met me? I'm pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah. I'm a garbage human being.
Yes.
So he goes to meet her family, and like the setup to this, I was like, did we just go into another movie? Because it's like the Godfather. Like this is huge.
I think is it supposed to be a quinceañera?
A what now?
It's the 15th birthday. It's in Hispanic culture, the quinceañera. It's kind of like a sweet 16. It's like a big to-do birthday party.
I hope it's not Alejandra's 15th birthday party.
No, I know it wasn't that, so that was good. I do wish I had spoken Spanish during the scene, so I knew what her dad said about him.
I did laugh when they had to put in a fucking piñata. Like, as if we didn't know the characters are Mexican. We have to throw in the most stereotype of all stereotypes, is that they're just like batting at a piñata. Which, yes, I'm sure that happens, but it's still funny.
We also find out that her little brothers have pornography.
Yeah, and why were the Shining twins at this party?
Well, that's them.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Because she's like, because they're busting her chops about, is this your boyfriend? Are you gonna kiss your boyfriend? Are you gonna kiss your boyfriend? She's like, if you don't knock it off, I'm gonna tell mom and dad what you have under your bed. Which
makes me a little bit more creeped out, because I'm like, why did they want them to kiss?
Well, it's just little brothers busting her chops and trying to embarrass her.
Yeah, but I mean, if they got those magazines in there, you know what they want.
Yeah. What's up next in the tropey Hallmark playbook, Brendan?
Oh my god. So while this is going on, Kale's mom is at the cafe closing up shop, and again she's crunching numbers, and she's kind of on the verge of falling asleep. She's like, I better go home. It's been a long day. So she gets in her car, and this whole thing is shot like kind of like a horror movie. So at first I thought she was going to get assaulted outside the cafe. I thought someone was... I don't know why I thought...
That would have been brutal. This movie took a hard left turn.
Well, that's what I thought. And then when she gets in the car and starts it up, I was like, oh no. Oh, no. Oh, by the way, the store he works at, I just saw it. It's called Electronic Factor.
I thought it was Electronic Factory.
Oh, maybe. I thought it was Factor, and I was like,
it could be Factor. I heard somebody say it really quickly.
Yeah.
And they were like, you work in an electronic factory. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He works at a pizza place and at, like, Best Buy.
Yeah. But yeah, so she gets in the car, she's very sleepy, and of course she gets to an accident. But fear not, she is not dead. But it proves to be an obstacle for Kale, because that's what's the most important thing about this scene. Not that she's in a hospital, but that she doesn't have enough insurance to cover the stay, so he...
And it was at this point that I stood up and sang the Canadian National Anthem.
That's right! I actually wrote down, if this was a Canadian movie, this wouldn't be a plot point.
Yeah. Also, there was carpet in the hospital.
Oh, well, maybe not the best location scout?
Like, I can see certain areas of a hospital having carpet. Like,
If I walked into a hospital carrying my own spleen and I saw carpet in the waiting room, I would walk out and die outside.
That's just it. Like, if you're in triage or the emergency department, there's no carpet because there's no room for soft materials on the floor because that shit's gonna hold biohazardous material.
Exactly. That's gross. Can you imagine if you went into a room and the doctor was like, just wait here, and there's like fucking shag carpeting everywhere?
Janitor's vacuuming.
The janitor's wearing like hazmat suits.
I've seen it in hospitals, but just not in places where surgery or bleeding can happen.
Yeah, like behind a desk maybe or something.
Or in an office or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
So so because of this, he has to basically sell the bike he's been working on to make all the money to cover her insurance.
And she can't stay the extra night at the hospital for observation.
Right, so he tells his younger sister, hey, we're going to play a game. It's called Don't Be Loud or Mom will get a terrible headache. It sounds like I'm joking, but that's almost what he says.
Okay, and now up after this is the next cookie cutter trope, where Crystal comes to say, I'm sorry for what happened to your mom, and comfort him, and Alejandro sees it, and, miscommunications abound.
And here's how it happens in real life. Oh, wait, Alejandra, 2 seconds. This is my ex. She came to say she feels bad about my mom. There, situation averted.
Yes.
It's the worst in movies. Like, it's always like, Alejandra, wait! Oh, man! And then wait like 3 days to explain it.
Yeah.
Like,
rather than just go over and talk to her.
Just nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
It makes you look more guilty if you don't explain it right away. So that shit happens, and Kale is finally ready. He wants to find his real father, and thankfully he finds out that his father has been sending them checks for like $1,500. But the mom is like, I'm not gonna cash them because number one, I think they're gonna bounce, and number two, I'm not taking his money.
And so this is the point where I noted, can we please pick a conflict?
If one doesn't work, maybe these other 7 will.
And so they have their little blow up, and he's gonna go find his dad in Oregon.
Yeah.
The whole time driving to Oregon in the rain with his face shield up.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you told me that blew my mind earlier, it's his real father.
Yes.
The actor, Corbin Bleu's real father. And they have the most fucking hackneyed, you were never there for me conversation ever. And he says, like, the dad is like, well, I don't know what you, like, do you want money? Because, like, Corbin Bleu is being so fucking obtuse and, like,
not saying what he wants, not saying what he's there for.
I don't even know what he's fucking there for. And then he's like, you want money? And he's like, I don't want money. You don't get it. And then the dad is just like, you're a good looking guy. You remind me of myself when I was your age. And he's like,
that was weird. That I gotta admit, that was kind of odd for his dad. You're a good looking guy.
I guess.
Thanks, Dad.
But it is funny how he's like, you remind me of myself when I was your age. And he's like, I'm nothing like you.
Well, 6 hours back to home for a 10-minute conversation you had with his dad
at the lumber yard. It's like the most like fucking cliche thing ever. And then he goes back to his mom and he's like, I'm sorry I ever doubted you and your actions. I get what happened. I understand. And the sister breaks the tension. Can't a girl get some sleep?
She's so sassy.
That's our Bailey. Yeah, that would be the commercial cue if this was on TV.
Yeah.
Notice I said if. That still blows my mind.
I think when, because
afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
So after this, Kale.
He goes to see Justin.
Oh yeah, but first he goes to Alejandra and like and basically makes up with her. Explains the situation
Like one would
immediately.
have done right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're good, and then he goes to visit Justin, who is out of the big race now because he hurt himself in the last one.
Yes, he took a fall again because of Derek, I believe.
Yeah, and he's like, you can take my spot. My bike is fucked though, and you have to pay the entry fee. So good luck.
Didn't he? And he said, "I'd help you, but my sponsor dropped me like a pregnant prom queen or something."
That's exactly what he said.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Oh.
That's not a saying.
No.
People don't talk like that.
Dropped you like a pregnant prom queen.
And he's like, and the whole time I'm like, he's feeling bad for himself. I'm like, well, guess I'll just have to go to college that my dad's gonna pay for. Sucks to be me.
Right? Also, it's clearly not permanent based on what we see later.
Yeah.
So.
And this point of contention we touched on earlier, how is he even still in the running to beat Derek at the end of the season? He's missed weeks of races.
He has like negative points.
Yeah.
Like if you get like 50 points for every race or 100 or whatever, he's got like approximately negative 2,000.
Well, I think they said it was 100 for the first place, 50 for second, and 25 for third.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we get another montage.
God damn. And also, where are Justin's crutches during this?
Oh, you mean because he's just hobbling around?
Yeah.
Yeah. They go to the back to the bike store, and he's like, "Can I borrow one of your bikes?" And the guy's like, "All right, fine." So that conflict resolved rather easily. And then they're trying to raise money for the entry fee. So, but they can't figure out how to do it, Nathan. They can't figure it out.
They go and they hit on Alejandra's dad.
Yep. I wish that's what happened.
Well, doesn't he say something along the lines of like, I don't know, him being like, he's like, they're really buttering him up, saying like he's smart and intelligent and all this stuff. I'm like, they're hitting on his dad, on her dad.
And he says something like, he's saying all this shit about like, I know you came to this country with a dream, and you accomplished that dream by opening this Rancho Bonito restaurant, and now I have a dream, which, by the way, best I have a dream speech maybe ever. And he says, the way he finally convinces him is he's like, your daughter is amazing, and he goes, okay, you got my money.
So they build the taco cycle.
Yeah, Rancho Bonito all over the bike.
Yep.
And we're off to the races, Nathan. The big final race here.
Is there a prayer walk?
Prayer walk?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the astronaut slow-mo.
No, because that's next. Because I have... Patty said they're on a mission. Like, just fucking tearing this thing apart. I was like, yeah, they got the wrong stuff.
Ah, that's what I was thinking of, too. And I've never even seen that full movie.
But you've seen that shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, these guys are terrible dirt bikers. They've crashed in, like, every race.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Every race is a bit much, but it's not uncommon to have a few stumbles throughout the season.
Yeah, but like every time we've seen them race, one of them has wiped out.
Yes.
So the race is off to a big start. So they by the way, the races are not exciting in the least. They're filmed pretty generically, and Kale falls behind at first, but then Derek crashes, and then Kale crashes, but he gets up, and holy shit, how far ahead is Kale? Because he gets up, he's at least 100 feet from the finish line?
Yeah.
And he grabs his bike and walks it to the finish line in the slowest way possible.
Yeah.
And all the other guys are still riding their bikes, somehow don't catch up to him in time before he crosses the finish line.
I think the idea being is that he passed Derek. Derek was in first.
Right.
Okay? Now, as far as explaining away why those other bikes passed him and he still came in first, is that those guys were the ones who were in dead last. They're like the little brothers when you're playing Mario Kart. You lapped them. So they still have to go through another lap in order to catch up with those who were in first and second.
Right. But, like, even Derek, like, how far behind is Derek for that to happen?
I know. Like, Jesus.
Like, it's crazy. So he crosses the finish line. Everyone cheers. Everyone thinks he's won. But hold on, everyone. You can't walk your bike across the finish line.
Yes, you have to be aboard your bike.
So the winner is Derek, and Kale doesn't even fucking get second or third. So, but our Deus Ex Machina is that...
Oh my...
This guy that works for the pros, he has to be a real person, right? Like
He
a
is,
real...
yeah.
Okay, because his acting was horrible.
Yeah, he's credited as himself.
He is, okay, because I was looking for that in the credits, and I couldn't find anyone that was like... Just like a guy like that. I looked all over, and I was like, oh man, this has to be like a fucking real dirt bike dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently he doesn't even know how to hold a microphone properly.
Yeah.
Like
and he has the power to hand out this empty spot.
Yep. And he's like, listen, I know you won, Derek, but I never said I was going to pick the winner. I said I was going to pick the person we wanted. No, you said you were going to pick the winner.
The best rider.
Yeah. It was a race to qualify for the pros. It wasn't a race to do really well and then we'll pick who we like.
Well, and even that, he makes mention of Kale going back and, not leaving a man behind, even though he was like 20 feet from the finish line.
Yeah.
He wasn't there when that happened.
He must have read
it. But it all happened before the spot on the Pro Tour came up.
But Nathan, they have 24-hour CNN coverage.
Right, Wolf Blitzer.
And then he saw
switched over to Anderson Cooper, who was covering it live.
And then he saw like the slam piece by Ann Coulter on Fox.
Right.
Dirt bikes or devil worshippers, you decide. So yeah, he gives Kale the spot in the pros. Kale celebrates, kisses Alejandra. They have their big moment, and his dad is there.
Yeah, just tropes to no end.
Gives him the "you did good, son," and we're like, "Thanks, dude. We met you for like 5 minutes.
I didn't talk to you. Well, back to Oregon.
Back to the lumberyard."
Yeah. And we get a Rocky 3 ending.
Oh, the freeze frame?
No, just the Kale and Justin having a race.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not for anything, just for, bragging rights.
And Justin checks out Alejandra's ass, and Kale's like, I know, right?
Well,
Yeah, it's just funny. He's like, man, your girlfriend's hot. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, and she thinks you're kind of a dick and a little racist, so you check her out all you want. You're not getting anywhere near that.
Bow, what the bow, da bang, da bang, digga, digga, digga. So, they race and blah, blah, blah. Their dirt bikes are in the air, and we cut to credits, but it's not over!
No.
I mean, the bloopers are whatever, but there is one blooper I know you want to mention.
Honest to God, if this blooper had been a legitimate scene in the movie, this movie would go from the dregs to, at the very least, bravely hilarious. Because there's a scene... Remember earlier in the movie, guys, Brendan and I talked about how Kale was at the party, and he thought that Crystal was making out with Justin, and he tore open the truck door where Justin was with this rando chick. And in reality, Crystal was making out with Derek over in his car. Well, during one of the blooper scenes, he tears open the truck, like he was going to look to see if Crystal was in there with Justin, and Derek's there making out with Justin. And I was like, man, if that had been a legitimate scene, that would have been awesome.
Yep.
real brave storytelling. We could have taken a nice, a good sharp turn there where the movie just doesn't go to being some like cookie cutter Hallmark Disney Channel teen movie, but actually exploring, being out and proud in the world of motocross.
Yeah. That
Opportunity lost.
is Freestyle. Nathan,
Yes, Brendan.
would you recommend Freestyle to family and friends?
Not in the least.
No, it's not good at all.
I feel that the spirit overpaid because she said she got it in the $3 bin at
Yeah,
Walmart.
that's steep.
For this.
Yeah, that's a steep price for this. Yeah, it's a doozy. It's not. It's certainly nowhere near the bottom echelon of some of the shit we've talked about, but it's not good. It's not good.
It's like those movies that you used to get from like KFC or in your corn pops or something, like back when DVDs were still a thing that people wanted.
Yeah.
Because streaming wasn't a thing and Blu-ray hadn't come along. But DVDs were cheap and easily accessible, and you could put them in a cereal box or you could give them out in like an envelope at a KFC. But it was always things like Air Bud 4 or, some knockoff of Aladdin.
And every time that happened, I was like, I can't watch this. I haven't seen the third one yet.
This is one of those movies. Like, it would be given out. Had this been released in the early 2000s, it would have ended up being comped with some crap that, some corporation wanted you to buy.
Exactly. But right now, we're going to take a brief break, and we will be right back.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you by HostGator. HostGator is a leading provider of shared, reseller, VPS, and dedicated hosting solutions. Award-winning support is available 24/7, 365 days a year via phone, email, and live chat. Discover why over 9 million websites trust HostGator. Use the coupon code SCHLOCK for 25% off your first purchase. That's SCHLOCK, SCHLOCK, for 25% off your first purchase.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you today by GameItAll.com. Whether it's video game news, the latest in music, or movie reviews, GameItAll.com is your one-stop shop for all nerdy talk. Nathan, I got this new app called Podcoin.
Oh, do you?
Yes. And what this app is it's a podcatcher, much like, iTunes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to podcasts on it and get paid.
Sweet.
Yeah. You get paid with Podcoins, which you can then redeem for gift cards, or if you're feeling the
charitable or philanthropic.
Yes, thank you, philanthropic, my favorite character on Futurama. You can give to charity as well. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to our show, What Were They Thinking?
Which you should.
You should. You get actually 1.5 times the normal amount of Podcoins you would get than listening to another podcast.
Oh, you're leaving money on the table by not doing it.
Exactly. Also, if you sign up with Podcoin, which you can, by the way, you can get on your Google Play Store, on your Android, or on your iOS device, you can use the code WWTTPD, which is the...
What Were They Thinking Police Department.
Right. You will receive 300 bonus Podcoins just for using that code. If you're already signed up for Podcoin, you can still enter it as well on your app if you haven't used a code yet. So why not do that? Get some bonus coins and listen to podcasts and get paid, get free shit, give to charity. It's literally the easiest thing you can do. It's easier than making toast.
Yes.
Which can be difficult.
Very difficult
toaster.
Sometimes, yeah.
It can be. Settings are a bitch. Right. So there you go. Podcoin. Check it out.
Did you know those are minutes, not levels of toast?
And we're back.
We are back.
We're back. A dinosaur story.
Coming soon?
I don't remember it. Maybe?
It's pretty terrible.
Or maybe the Flintstones movie.
Especially the sequel.
Ooh.
Yeesh.
That might not have made theaters.
I believe it did, actually.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But now, Nathan, it is
Yeah?
time for the low haiku.
Yes, the low haiku. 17 perfect little syllables that will represent the movie we just spent an hour and a half talking about.
Indeed. Well, I will begin then.
All right.
Vroom vroom, I go fast. Dude bros, broing like a bro. Penelope, why? Thank you. Thank you.
Freestyle. There are bikes. Not according to the box. More like Corbin Bleu.
Well played.
Thank you.
I also was calling him Baron Corbin in my head for a while to entertain myself.
And there's our wrestling reference.
Boom. Nailed it.
Whew.
Oh,
Nice.
every time,
Okay.
get in there and get out. It just takes a little bit more out of me each time. Whew. Okay. Well, Nathan, we talked about this movie. We gave our opinions.
Yes.
But what do we always say?
Well, we always say...
Don't take a word for it.
Yes, don't take our word for it. Not a lot of reviews on this one, but it does have a 33% critics rating.
Seems high.
Well, just wait. The audience rating, 54%.
They were probably high.
School Musical. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like this is a bunch of 13-year-old girls being like, 5 stars! So yeah, 33%. And so the first one I want to, from the critics I want to read here is I feel like this is a little bit facetious because I know this critic on another podcast, and she's very good. So I don't know if she's being 100% serious, but she says, a film Barack Obama would approve of screening for Sasha and Malia. There's even a jab at private health insurers. Amy Nicholson.
Well, I've got one here, and I think this one kind of reaches out to the person or the ghost apparition, you will, that provided us with this suggestion.
Okay.
Nick Schrager of Slant Magazine says, for High School Musical fans unwaveringly devoted to Corbin Bleu, Freestyle provides ample opportunity to swoon over the former East High basketballer's big floppy hair and Disney Channel grade emoting.
Oh boy. This is from Lisa Kennedy of the Denver Post. And she actually likes this movie. She says, you don't have to be a swooning teenage girl to be enamored of Freestyle and its heartthrob actor, Corbin Bleu. No, but it wouldn't hurt, though. That's my editorial at the end there.
Yeah. Tom Kehoga. I think that, I don't know how it's pronounced. From Seattle.
You sound like Montrose trying to pronounce lead actors' names.
Oh, Jason Bahij?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this Tom from the Seattle Times writes, if the world truly needs a family-friendly drama built around motocross racing, it might as well be Freestyle, a wholly competent film with journeyman director William Deere.
Competent?
2.5 out of 4.
And that's written
That's
as
a positive. Yeah.
William Deere, by the way, we didn't mention this, but he also directed Angels in the Outfield. And there was something else that was fairly big that he directed. So I guess he is kind of a journeyman director, but I think the journey ended in 2008. Kyle Smith of the New York Post says, Blue's cute but bland act flatlines in every scene of a movie with a script that is a perfect match for his abilities. That is some passive aggressive reviewing there.
Well, Adam Markovitz from Entertainment Weekly says The plot of Freestyle lifted wholesale from any number of Kid with a Dream movies. Unfolds just the way you think it will. No, it didn't. Until the climax turns out to be even cheesier than you feared. D+.
Ooh. All right. Should we go into the dungeon of Rotten Tomatoes here?
Yes, let's.
I only have literally 2 reviews written down here. That I picked out, but this is a longer one, but it's a 3-star review. It says, I wasn't very sure about watching a motorcycle film, as I'm not very interested in motorcycling, but the film was good to pass the time. It had an interesting story, and the acting was also pretty good, especially Corbin's. However, the music during the film was quite annoying. But apart from the music, the film was different from any other films I've seen, and showed a young man following his dreams to support his family. Overall, a nice, heartwarming film. Different from any film he's seen?
Now, if he watched, like, an anthology of Hallmark Channel television show pitches cobbled together with a framing device to make it look like a movie, then he would have seen a movie like this.
Like, if he had only seen this and Alien in his life, then yes, this is different from every other movie you've seen.
I got a review from a rather curious chap, Gary M.
I thought you were going to say his name was George, because he was curious.
Nope. He gives a very maritime-y review.
Okay.
He gave the thing 3.5 stars. It's not a bad movie, to be honest. Okay.
That's it.
Now, normally this is where I would stop, but Gary M. gave that review on October 7th of 2011 and gave the exact same review January 13th of 2012.
He wanted to make sure people knew he still felt that way.
4 months later.
4 months later, don't worry, guys. I still think this movie's pretty good. The only other one I have here is, I don't know how this person can give it a rating, but they gave it 5 stars, and they said, it looks so good. I want to see it so bad because I love Corbin Bleu. And if you're curious, yes, cuz is spelt C-U-Z.
Right, and love is spelled L-U-V.
Of course.
Yeah.
And in Corbin Bleu, only Corbin is capitalized.
Well, I guess Georgiana, who was the one who gave that review, she should have got together with Vanessa H. about 6 months later, because she gave it a 5-star review and said, Corbin did amazing! I loved it! Bye!
Wait, there's a bye at the end?
No, that's my little editorializing.
Oh, damn. Dear Rotten Tomatoes, this movie was great. Bye! All right. Nathan, no one saw this fucking movie.
No.
Clearly. This is, I think, the shortest Rotten Tomatoes thing we've done.
I do have one here that just is sticking out to me if you
Okay.
don't have another one.
No, I don't. Go ahead.
It's a 1.5-star review, so they're in our camp in regards to how they see it. But I don't know how, but he says, this is a surprisingly cornball movie. It's not surprising at all.
Really caught me off guard with this one.
The plot is too rough and contrived, and we don't get enough of the romance or the relationship with the father. I kind of enjoyed the motorbiking. Race stuff, but so what?
Oh, God. More of the father? What more do you want? More scenes where they don't know what they're saying to each other?
Or where his clearly not an actor father is trying to act.
That's true. He probably really did work at that lumber yard. Dad, can we come to work and just, film you for a bit? I don't care.
Apparently, according to some of the trivia, it's like the 3rd time he's played his dad in a movie.
I mean, it's nice of you to get your dad a gig.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure Corbin Bleu is a swell fella, but Yeah, this movie is a thing. Well, yeah. So those are the Rotten Tomatoes. What the Rotten Tomatoes critics are saying, and the audience. Nathan, is your friend there, Montrose?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. I'm just going to start off by saying I am in agreement with these knuckle-dragging ne'er-do-wells. This movie is terrible. Shouldn't see it. Shouldn't take the time. Really, there's nothing good about it at all. Not even the dirt biking. Then I'm getting please do check out my YouTube channel, Montrose Monkington TV. You can also get on Facebook with me, Montrose Monkington III Esquire and friends. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Montrose III. That's the number 3RD. Just follow me on any of those are my socials, as they say with the children and whatnot when they're being hip and happening. And just send some positive vibes and messages to your good friend Montrose. Thank you. More later.
Thank you, Montrose. And as for us, you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for What Were They Thinking? What Were They Thinking Interactive is our Facebook group. You can also find us on Patreon. Again, just search the podcast. You will find us. And we're on Redbubble and TeePublic. And all the podcatchers, we're on Podbean, www.ttpodcast.podbean.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all that good stuff. So yeah, so normally we would at this point also drop a Hinsky, but it is Listener's Choice Month, so we already did the draw. We know what's coming up. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about giant sharks. We're talking about Deep Blue Sea. And our hats are like shark's fins. We're ready to go.
Jesus.
So
the ocean is haunted.
It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be a bit of a party episode where I'm warning you in advance.
I will be drinking most likely.
Oh, yeah. So that's all I have to say. Nathan.
Yes, Brendan.
Do you have any questions? I mean, it's a perfect film, but do you have any questions about Freestyle?
Well, I mean, with nary a frame out of place,
right?
I guess I do have just a couple of questions, actually.
I guess so, sure.
And they were hard. I mean, I really had to search for these, but I mean, in a movie that is supposed to prominently feature motocross,
yep,
and they spend conservatively 10, 15 minutes of the movie motocrossing.
Sure.
With a movie where just random conflicts are introduced and then thrown away, like being bullied about being biracial, or, you know, the dad you haven't seen in almost 10 years, or, you know, your friend possibly being hit on by one of your competitors, or, you know, being a biracial dude hanging out with friends who are clearly racists. And on top of all of that, Penelope Ann Miller is in there. I gotta know. What were they thinking?
If you've ever found yourself scrolling through the recommended movies on streaming services and wondering if any of those are worth your time, I'm here to help. Hi, I'm Erica, host of Customers Also Watched, a podcast about movies on Amazon Prime. I started with one movie from my own watch list, and from there, each episode I grab a friend or two, and we discuss a movie from the Customers Also Watch list of the previous episode's movie. Follow on Twitter at CAW Podcast, and Facebook or Instagram under Customers Also Watched. Available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and Podbean. See you down the rabbit hole.
It's time, let's check our cue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. With a one-liner plot holes and gratuitous movies. It's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy. At eilfm.podbean.com.